All right. Welcome to America. You need to prepare. I want to introduce our guest. Um, I'll let you start, Brandon, and then Mr. Gordon, and then uh, George. You have to speak real loud. We're all out of we're all out of microphones. So just so everybody knows, tonight is not the Bible study night. Tonight is the current events, prophecy, news, everything, you name it. But tonight, uh, I'll have an open statement. I think Brandon will. We've got some news we're going to break into. And tonight, I am going to prove that since conservatives are called Nazis and our president is called Nazis, tonight I am going to prove without a shadow of a doubt, with evidence, that the true evil party and bigots are the Democratic Party, which is following the same playbook as Hitler. That's my introduction. All right. Brandon?
Yeah, so I kind of agree with you there. Like, just for a quick example, anything that Hitler deemed offensive as far as monuments and stuff like that, he would have taken down and destroyed, which is kind of funny because that's what they're doing with Robert E. Lee and everything like that. So, I kind of agree with this topic. I think it'd be interesting to get into. But anyway, my name's Brandon. I guess I'm the co-host of America You Need to Prepare. We'll get into some other topics as well. We might dabble in evolution a little bit. What are the flaws of evolution and how it actually isn't real.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll get into that a little bit later. I found an interesting news story where it seems that Ivanka Trump is starting to believe that we need to start taking in refugees, which that kind of concerns me. We didn't actually elect Ivanka to be president. I don't agree with that at all. For example, out of all the people that are being taken in from, quote unquote Syria in Europe, only 6.5% of them are actually Syrian refugees. The rest of them are just, economic migrants, and most of those are not even coming from Syria. So, if you don't have a vetting process, it's ridiculous. You just look if you think I'm wrong, just look at what's happening in France and Sweden and Germany and all those places. So. Yeah, but we'll get into other topics and stuff like that tonight. But anyway, that's my introduction.
Okay.
Okay, I'm Gordon Wayne Watts. You can Google my name, Gorton, middle name Wayne, like John Wayne, Watts, W-A-T-T-S. My claim to fame, if you can call it that, is that I lost a 4-3 split decision in the Florida Supreme Court, as Thr27Apr2017 been using a food and water argument that Jesus used in the Bible. And Jeb Bush, by contrast, lost 7-0 before the same court using a feeding tube argument. So I'm conversant on the evolution matters because I have a biology and chemical science degree with honors from FSU, the Florida State University, and I was valedictorian of a 2-year vocational college in electronics. And I'm also conversant on the refugee issues. And before I go any further, I want to just mention that the co-host, Brandon, is right, and I'll even go one step further. Between 1921 and 1965, there was the Great Pause. You can Google the Great Pause, in which we had almost no refugees at all, very few. And it was not a matter of prejudice. We had to stop what we were doing and assimilate the refugees we had. And as touching the evolutionary issue, you can Google the second law of thermodynamics and entropy. And even if you could go back at the very beginning of time and then come forward, eventually the universe would have died at some point if you could go back far enough. So a dead universe, we cannot even create life, okay? We, with one technology, 2 DNA from dead dinosaurs, 3 DNA from live toad frogs, we cannot create life. And if we can't create life, it sure couldn't have created itself. I don't care how much time you have, it goes downhill, not uphill. And so I'm conversant on those topics. If you don't mind me asking, Brandon, are you a Lakeland person like me?
Oh, we need to let Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a third.
Yeah, we got a fourth one here.
Okay, go for
George, go ahead and introduce yourself. A little background. Talk real loud.
Hi, my name is George Freeman, from the Florida area. I'm actually a couple, and that's basically what I do is prepare for divorce, expect for even worse.
That's one way to look at it, huh?
Yep.
Yep. Well, I've known George for a while. Very good guy. Very good guy. If anybody's got your six, it'll be George. Now, Brandon.
Yeah.
Did you go over the short list of what you were going to talk about? If some.
Yeah, I went over the short list, but if I could kind of jump in on what the your name's Gordon, right?
Yeah, Gordon. She like Flash Gordon, the superhero.
Okay, yeah, I remember that now. But if I can go back onto that, yeah, it actually does violate the second law of thermodynamics, which is entropy, which states that from the very point of existence, ever going through time, it will energy degrade. So if you look at that, like every generation of man, we go from as close to perfect as possible, and each generation after that, there's a little bit of coding loss in our DNA. Now, if you go into detail about what DNA actually is, it's actually extremely complex. If you look at like quantum computers, hundreds of millions of dollars to make these computers that can compute things that the human mind supposedly can't perceive, they still run off of a binary system, a 2-bit system of ones and zeros. If you look at DNA, it's actually a 4-bit system, which is thousands of times more advanced than anything that we'll be able to perceive in our time. So when you look at that and how extremely intricate DNA is, let's say that we're going to throw away biogenesis for an instance, which is a law that states that life can only come from life. So let's throw that out of the way and let's give evolution a chance here. We'll throw that away. We'll throw some other things away. And what are the actual odds, the probability that a single piece, not an entire strand, just one single piece of DNA can come into existence out of nothing? A lot of people agree that it is 10 to the 39,970th power. So what does that number equate to? Well,
Impossible.
All of existence, you have 10 to the 82nd power of atoms. Any mathematician, anyone that knows advanced mathematics will tell you that 10 to the 50th power is completely impossible. That is an absurd number. 1 to the 10 to the 50th power is completely, it won't happen. So if you look at that, and you have the odds of one single piece of DNA being just come out of nothing is 10 to the 39,970th power. That's trillions of times more improbable than what's the threshold of impossible. So even if you look at just mathematics never lies, and you physically can't get that. I don't know if you agree with me, Gordon, on that, but
Yeah, I could explain. I got it wrote down somewhere, but I could explain DNA. I'm gonna explain why our color is different, everything down to a T. But it's all wrote down.
Yep.
I said I was going to debunk this Hitlerian crap that is hit us by storm. So I'm hoping some Democrats are watching this right now. Some alt-left Democrats. I hope you could skip your Rachel Maddow show long enough.
Can I weigh in on the Democrat issue?
What you got?
Okay, for people that don't know me, I'm a far right conservative. I'm pro-life, pro-marriage, pro-Second Amendment, fiscal conservative, constitutional conservative. But most of the liberals, I would say, at least the ones with common sense, don't have major issues with me, except maybe a few fringe elements, because I'm fighting against predatory lending in college loans, which is something that's a conservative issue, but the Democrats have grabbed a hold of this better. And without saying anything further,
George,
the Democrats,
still there?
the Democratic Party and the Republican Party have both really been liberal and let the public down in different ways. The Democrats are far worse in some ways, and the Republicans have let down the public in the not standing up for bankruptcy for college loans. And bankruptcy sounds like a liberal issue. When I say I want bankruptcy, it sounds like I'm trying to get a free handout. But bankruptcy is like the Economic Second Amendment. It'll be pulled out and you can defend against predatory lending. So even though it's a conservative issue, it's a free market, conservative free market check against predatory lending that will preserve the budget because the tax dollars are on the hook for these college loans. The liberals generally get along with me, and so I'm liberal friendly, but I am not liberal. The liberals just happen to have a few good ideas, and God created man in his image, including the liberals, meaning that that little bit of spark of life is in them. And so I'm conversant with the liberals, which is a good thing because we need the liberals on our side because the so-called conservatives are neocons. We have bad Republicans and bad Democrats, very few lawmakers on the federal level or any good at all. But I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, here's the thing. All the violence, protests, all of that. Me and my husband, I'm hoping he'll join in the show. Because me and him used to have a show together, and it was quite intense. It was really cool. Like with Ann Coulter, I mean, I was really pulling for her to be, on this go speak. But here's the problem: we have too much violence, and it's coming from the left, and the liberal leaders are following the same playbook and policies as Hitler. So if you want to call somebody a Hitlerian, let's just look at this, okay? First of all, the liberalism and socialism, their policies are evil, okay? It is not Trump or his policies and supporters in any way Nazism or Hitlerism, okay? It is liberalism and socialism that is Hitlerism or Hitlerian and Nazism. It is NSGW, which is the National Socialist German Worker Party. America is what you would call a constitutional representative republic. It is not a democracy. A democracy is a mob of people. Okay? Literally, that's what a democracy means. Okay? Now, our representative republic protects the minority from the majority, but a democracy is the rule of the majority. Therefore, if there was no voter fraud this election, the constitutional electoral votes protected the minorities this time. This election proved that middle-class, hardworking, patriotic, conservative Christians are indeed the minorities. Therefore, the system worked this time. So let's just clear the table and set the record straight. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
All right. We're going to compare some stuff, okay? The liberal democratic policies indeed are extremely similar to Hitler, okay, and his policies, and that's a fact. The alt left should choose their Nazi name calling attack carefully, facts and actual true knowledge of Hitler's policies, because they do not line up with true conservative and alt-right policies. Okay? Now, much like 2008, 2012, Americans were wanting something better, just as the Germans did. They wanted change. All right? Families were struggling and losing jobs as the economy was in shambles. So here came this young man who captured the country through his powerful, almost spellbinding speeches. Okay, his voice was full of promises that led to lies and death. Sound familiar? Well, it should, because his speeches captured the same group of people as the candidate Barack Obama. There was also Bill Clinton and later on Hillary Clinton, who also captured that same group of people, but that's all in itself another day. So let's put the comparisons out. All right. Employment for all. All right. And as I go through them, I want every one of y'all that are here. If I'm to make it real simple so we can move on and go to each guest, I want you to tell me if it's true or false, okay? All right, a decimated country by depression due to the economy, Hitler used what is called public works innovations scheme. It was a scheme that started with the building of, I can't pronounce that name, but the Ochmans, which price workers were unaware of labor and revealed Hitler's motives of secretly allowing inflation from public spending. Eventually, people had become totally dependent on a tyrant, dictator, and murderer. Obama rose our national debt by creating. Obama rose our national debt by creating public works employment, while the middle class and the lower middle class and poor, small business owners, and others as such were losing their jobs. Now, I don't know about y'all, but in the past 8 years, I have seen more road construction ever since I've been on this earth. I-75 has been under road construction for countless number of years. Am I right or am I wrong?
Right.
All right.
I see construction all over the place, just ongoing.
Okay. Now, others, okay, all right, while we were losing jobs and pensions, employment, health insurance, Hitler hated the wealthy. Even though he was wealthy and he hated capitalism, and without capitalism, there's no business. There's no wealthy people to thrive and to write checks out to us middle class people. All right. The lower middle class as well as the poor. Sound familiar yet? It should, because it happened. He created jobs through government, yet he attacked and criticized the rich. He demeaned the population that had the ability to create jobs. He demonized the rich businessmen and women, just as Obama and Hillary and both, just like Hitler, they were all very wealthy, as we all remember. Hillary wearing that $12,500 jacket. Okay, it's so hypocritical for a non-politician to demonize the wealthy, while the brainwashed his followers into not only hating the wealthy, but also eating off the finest dish. Today's liberals have been poisoned. The groups of people mentioned earlier, but young people as well. And here it is. Here is what is in common with what the Nazis did and what liberals do. Big education, free education, social or national health care, gun control, abortion, blaming the Jews. All right. Nationwide boycott of Jewish owned businesses. That was on April 1st, 1933. A police state. Big education, much like Common Core, when working families couldn't live off of one paycheck. What better way to open a door for women needing to go into the workforce than to offer free 24-hour, 7-day-a-week daycare that was not ran by teachers, but check this out, child psychologists. All right. This was for children as young as 4 weeks old. This was not like any other daycares. Okay, there was no nurturing mother type. Okay, so what I just read off, aside from the fact of, you know, Obama blaming the Jews, Obama's been blaming who for all the problems? All right, who's been demonizing the rich? Look at Donald Trump; he's being demonized left and right. I could go into more, but I'm gonna take a break and I'm gonna let somebody else step in because I'm starting to get a little heated on this subject.
Can I address one point? You said we're a minority. Now I'm a Christian, and I name Jesus as both the Savior and also the perfect role, the only perfect role model and example.
Yes.
John 13:15, 1 Peter 2:21. And Jesus clearly said only few travels the narrow path, implying that we are minority. But my father, that runs the Bobby Watts Speed Shop in Lakeland, you can Google him. He told me that he thinks that if the votes were counted fairly, that the majority of the people he believes voted for Donald Trump. I don't know if he's right or not, but he may be. And I wanted to throw that in there. And also, back in the day, back before the liberals got a hold of things, college was affordable, and you could go to, there was not all these high-paid executives in college, all these building projects and stupid research programs and lavish pools and dormitories. But whenever the liberals started using tax dollars to make or to guarantee college loans, the college is jacked. It was supposedly student aid, but the college is jacked up tuition to match the increased borrowing ability. The taxpayers are on the hook for this nonsense. The students are on the hook because college used to be affordable, or in some cases almost free. Now it's not affordable. And the liberals running higher ed, the liberals running these banks and these lending institutions are profiting. And almost 10% of the national debt is college debt. College debt has, for the first time in the history of the galaxy, surpassed credit card debt because the liberals have gotten a hold of it. Tuition is a form of tax because it's money going to a form of the government. And the tuition, which is now unaffordable, used to be affordable, but now it's unaffordable, is because of the liberals. And so the conservatives, or the Republicans and the Democrats have at times been in control of the House, the Senate, and the Oval Office, and both parties have refused to address this problem. Both parties are liberal, with a capital L, loser, liberal. There's a few good people out there, but I'm not going to name names because I want to protect the innocent.
Yeah. What do y'all think, George, Jim, and Brandon? What's your take?
We'll go ahead and let the silent one talk for a little bit.
George, Jim, which one?
George. Is he still on the phone? Your phone gets still on.
George, you still there? What do you think about that?
Actually, I'm with everybody else on that situation. It's really shocking that how these groups of individuals, for example, back with BLM, Black Lives Matter, they're run by a white, old, wealthy guy, and he's mostly trickled down to the fact that now they are saying that Black Lives Matter, BLM is a possibly terrorist group.
That's definitely terrorist.
Right. Now, with the terrorist issue, they are already in the United States. They have what they call sleeper cells.
Yeah.
And group civil camps that they are training guerrilla warfare. And the Federal Bureau, the FBI, CIA knows this, and I really don't know why they are not taking care of it. Also, in fact, my belief is that if these sleeper cells decide to act on their belief and start terrorist bombings and stuff throughout the United States, that would entitle the United States to go under martial law. Well, right now we're under soft martial law.
Yeah, we are.
And still everybody's, I even tell people I work with that we're under soft martial law. They still they're asleep. They don't believe that we are capable of having a solid martial law, in which we are in law.
Go ahead. Go ahead, George.
No, that's right. That's basically what I stand. I mean, we have internet. They have control over partially internet. Even with I forgot what law or Obama signed over the rights to UN for the internet. Also, the UN, I just heard stuff from them. I haven't confirmed it yet. That the UN threatened Trump with the appeal Obamacare.
Yes, I've got a bunch of news about that. Sure do. You're right. You're right. United Nations. Hold a second. Hold a second. What is it? Yeah. Brandon.
Yeah.
What's your take?
I've been taking a lot of notes, trying a lot of information to process for a old country boy like me. But going back to what George said about college, you know, there's a lot of things that are wrong with college these days. For example, you know, any given day, full-time jobs, there are right around 3 million open, vacant jobs. Now, more than 80% of those vacant jobs of the 3 million do not require any college whatsoever. Only 20% of them do, and to be quite honest with you, a lot of the other that don't require it, once you work up through the ranks, you're actually making more than what most of these college graduates were supposed to be making to begin with. I actually know people that are like, oh yeah, we're going to Ohio State or OU, and you know we're going to be there for 6 years, and then we're going to have $120,000 in debt, have a $45,000 annual salary.
You just okay. I don't mean to interrupt you. I want you to finish, but you know what? Let me tell you how so right you are on that. All right. I talked to my daughter today. She's going to a local college, community college, right? She goes a couple nights a week. All right, and she's graduating EMR, okay, which cost her, guess how much, Brandon?
What?
For my daughter to take.
Well, I heard you. I couldn't take a good guess. Is this an actual college, or is this?
Yeah, it's a community. Yeah, it's a community college.
Community college. So for 2 years, you're probably looking at tuition right around $50,000.
Here's the thing: she's not even. She only went to school for 6 months, paid $400, and she graduates May 5th from EMR. Then she goes to EMT, which is another semester, and that's $800.
That's it.
What happened to kids doing what my kid is doing, working and paying for her college? She ain't got to have Yale. I'd be embarrassed to say I came from Berkeley right now. But now finish what you were saying, and then we'll go back to you.
That worked while I was in college, and I will tell you what happened.
Hold on 1 second. Okay. Let Brandon finish because I cut him off.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so I mean, the reason that people are not actually doing the whole work thing, because even whenever I was in school, and years before that, even in the 70s, Hollywood, for example, if you look at these posters, you'll see this guy that he's real sad and he's dirty from head to toe, normally in a mechanic's outfit or some sort of one onesie, and he just looks dreary. And then on the other side of that is the college graduate, the white collar, he's wearing a nice suit, real happy, and all this stuff. So there's always been a war on actual physical labor.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you talk to like a guidance counselor or something, oh, you got to go to college because that's where the better jobs are. Well, no, because I can name off the top of my head 4 people in my small circle who are making over $100 an hour, and they're high school graduates. So I mean that's false. Secondly, you were talking, George, about the popular vote. Well, there were 6 million fraudulent votes. So you got dead people voting. You got Democrats voting.
That's George.
Yeah,
that's Gordon. George is the one on the phone.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gordon. So you got all this. It's a really close estimate of between 6 and 6.5 million fraudulent votes. So if you do that, we actually want to talk to the vote. Now, as far as tuition being high, I look at tuition. We keep pushing towards these grants. We want more federal grants. We want more free college. Well, when you make it free to people, one, it's not actually free because we're paying for taxes. But when you make it mandatory, anything mandatory like insurance, when auto insurance became mandatory, the price skyrocketed. Same thing with Obamacare and all of that infinite wisdom. Once we made that mandatory, the price skyrocketed. So when colleges know that these kids are going to be able to rack up all this debt, and the government's going to have to come in on the back end and pay for it because they're declaring bankruptcy on this, or they're getting all these grants or anything besides scholarships, they can control the price. So now it's a massive money making industry.
Yeah.
As far as what George was saying that was on the phone, Black Lives Matter and Antifa being terrorists, I 100% agree. And actually, what Trump supporters and conservatives did in Berkeley when they actually fought back against them, that is actually protected in the Constitution because I touched on this last night, but Article 1, Section 8, Clause 15, 16, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1 defines the roles of the militia. It goes into detail about some other things as well, but pretty much the three main roles of we the people, which is the militia, is to suppress insurrections. Well, what is an insurrection? That is a violent protest. That's what that is. So anytime you have riots or civil unrest, it's the community's job to go in and stop that. Well, you got to be well armed for that, but we made do with what we had, and we suppressed Antifa there. Second is to enforce the laws of the union. People that are breaking the law, cops took that role over, but it is still up to us to be vigilant. Just letting this stuff happen is look at where we're at by just let them do their thing, it'll be fine. No, it's just getting more and more ridiculous. So, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, these groups that get together that, the love Trump's hateful crap, which they're the most hateful group I've ever seen, is ridiculous. When you incite, fear in the people of your own community, American people, you're a terrorist. You're using fear to push your beliefs. That's a basic definition of what terrorism is. So it should be suppressed automatically. This should never even happen. There's a difference between people having a peaceful protest and then rioting.
Yeah, you just know it. That's the problem. And nobody's.
I got 2 more points, and then I am done as far as what we've talked about so far. So, George, you also were talking about the CIA and FBI.
George is gone.
He left?
Yeah, he left.
That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and touch on this point, though, because he was talking about the CIA and FBI.
Yeah, so, I got some stuff, too.
They're not doing anything about this. Well, think about it. If we let this go long enough and, both sides get the tension builds to a certain point, it's going to get violent. It's going to get violent in a biblical way. You could use the term civil war or whatever. But as soon as we are focused on fighting each other, there's going to be a sleight of hand, a consolidation of power. We've seen that in the 9/11 terror attacks with signing in the Patriot Act. When we just pretty much were like,
we gave it rights away.
Got a beautiful name to it, Patriot. We're all one. It's a great thing. Well, no, we just gave up our privacy rights. So when you have a large consolidation of power, which is what Hitler did, you act like you're for the people in the beginning, and once you have that consolidation of power, you can do whatever you want. You no longer have to care about what the people think because they're totally dependent on you. Well, that was all back to your point as well. But look at what Hitler did. Once he got his big world war and he started thinking that he was taking over the world, he became a recluse. He no longer talked to the people. He never went out and did anything. What did Obama do his last couple of years? He went on so many vacations, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, he just got back from vacation again. What was it, 2 weeks ago?
He doesn't care about the people and never did anything for it. Look at this whole town, Chicago. Look at that place. That's a war zone. That's a third world country.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lost cause at this point, and not a shock. It's been run by Democrats since the 30s. And it's the same thing with Detroit and all that wonderful stuff. But anyway, that was hopefully I touched on everything that we were talking about so far. So with that, I will digress.
I'll address the college issue.
Well, I did too. So go ahead.
Well, okay. I went to community college because it was the cheapest college available, and I had a merit scholarship because of my grades. Now, I was one of these people that felt that I had personal responsibility, and I went and worked 2 jobs at Burger King and at Winn-Dixie, and my grades went down because of that, and I lost my scholarship. But no one told me that I could reapply for the scholarship until after the time for reapplying expired. So then later on, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4 of the U.S. Constitution says that bankruptcy law must be uniform. And I don't want a free handout, but bankruptcy is the financial equivalent of the Second Amendment. When the students were able to pull the bankruptcy sword, think of the mortgage crisis in 2008, 2009. They could file bankruptcy. As bad as it was, it would have been much worse had those people been unable to file bankruptcy because they would have piled on them. And so what happened is I was unable to file for bankruptcy. And there's an illegal monopoly in higher ed. Okay. So the bottom line is that I wanted to just touch base and point out that this college is basically an illegal monopoly, and there's predatory lending involved. I don't want a free handout, but at the same time, the students are told, if you don't go to college, you can't make anything of yourself. And if you do go to college, you'll be in debt forever. And it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's a no-win situation. It's a catch-22. And so I played the handout the best that I could. And I went to the cheapest college once I got out of the community college and decided to go back to college a few years later. I didn't know that I could renew the scholarship or reapply for it. And Florida State University was the cheapest. I could probably still have gone maybe 1 or 2 more semesters at a community college, but I decided to go on campus. And the only thing I could have done differently was to convert a few of the years to 1 more year at community college. But Florida State was the cheapest college out there that would accept me, and I went to it, and I got graduated with a double major with honors. And some places will say that you're too degree, and you're too smart, and they won't hire you. And I have 1 false arrest on my record. In all fairness to the employers, one of the employers was the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. They knew that the police had lied in their affidavit when they claimed that dispatcher told me to get the heck out of this area. She didn't say that. And by all rights, they should have known that. And so, but the predatory lending, the illegal monopoly, and some people said it's not a monopoly. It is a monopoly. You look up the definition of the word monopoly. When the liberals got in control of things, just like you said, Brandon, the colleges see the students have deep pockets, and they jack up what was supposed to be student aid as college aid. Had the liberals not made the taxpayer dollar provide to make or to guarantee to back college loans, the college loans wouldn't have been there. You would have had to get a credit card. With a lack of college loan ability, it would have been real hard to get a big college loan. The tuition would have stayed low because they would have known the students were not able to be price gouged. But the liberals got control of that, and it has gone downhill ever since.
Yeah, and they also went up 30% last year. These big colleges, they started charging the students an extra 30% to pay for illegals to come to college at no cost. Just want to put that in there. But the liberals call big corporations evil. They also call our military evil. One writes checks to you for your work, which pays your bills, and the other protects you from evil terrorists and get paid very little. Libs say we conservatives are greedy, fascist, and racist. Greedy. Okay? I'm a conservative who believes in lower taxes. So you can keep more, and I can keep more of my money that I work for. And I believe in limited government.
Amen. Limited.
Okay? And aren't I entitled to keeping my money? If that makes me greedy, guess what? The Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat.
Amen.
Okay? Fascist. This is a good one. Okay. That's why conservatives are never allowed to speak at college campuses without being attacked, riots, or being shut down. here, fascist in Latin is like fascis, and it's what here's what it means. Okay, check this out. It's the meaning of a bundle of sticks. It was used by a member of the Socialist Party. It was it was a metaphor for what he wanted for Italy. Each stick, which could be broken one by one and tied together. The fascists believe in political violence to achieve their goals, like Occupy Wall Street, Berkeley. Fascists opposed free market capitalism. They stand for government handouts. They stand for pocket change project oppression. They hate religion. They believe in a powerful state regulated economy. Nazi Germany. Okay, it's it was like I said, it's a National Socialist German Workers Party. And the final part of what I have written on here is then they call us the racist party. Okay, please, if you're a Democrat, call me and tell me that I'm racist, because the racist Republican Party, founded in 1854 by anti-slavery who opposed pro-slavery Democrats, John C. Fremont. They called him the Pathfinder. Okay. Then Abraham Lincoln came in. All right. There was the end of slavery. But the Democrat activist Booth shot and killed Abraham Lincoln. So the racist Republicans passed the 13th Amendment abolishing slavery, the 14th Amendment for due process and equal rights under the law, the 15th Amendment providing voting rights to the blacks, while Democrats fought tooth and nail. All right? The first black Republican elected to Congress was Hiram Rebels. He was a U.S. Senator of Mississippi. Joseph Rainey, U.S. Representative of South Carolina. So the Dems formed the KKK to make sure it wouldn't happen again. And the Dems wrote the Jim Crow laws. Frederick Douglass, black Republican, says, and I'll quote, I recognize the Republican Party as the sheet anchor of the colored man's political hopes and the ark of his safety. Did you just hear what I just said?
Yep.
Okay. Again, I'm going to repeat it. Frederick Douglass, a black Republican, said, I recognize the Republican Party as the sheet anchor of the colored man's political hopes and the ark of his safety. So here, take your racism race card, because guess what? It's worn out. It's no good. Cut it up like a credit card. Sorry.
If you're a black Democrat and you're considering voting for the Republican Party, I'm a Republican. We're far from perfect, but your Second Amendment rights are under threat. Hillary Clinton opposed the Heller decision, and the Heller decision was one in which the court almost prevented the court upheld it, that they was in one vote of preventing a federal police officer from having a gun in his own home. Now, if the liberals, now Hillary Clinton said she opposed the Heller decision and would have seen it overturned. She said that when she was running for president. Now, if a federal police officer cannot have a gun in his own home, and you're a poor black Democrat and you wish to have your gun rights, what hope in hell do you think that you would have of having gun rights in some liberal state? Now, not all states are liberal, but let's say that you lived in Illinois or DC or California, and you wanted the gun rights to protect yourself, no matter whether it's not a black and white issue, it's not a Republican and Democrat issue, but the Democrats are prejudiced against you and your Second Amendment rights. And I want you to know that.
Now, Brandon, I'm glad Gordon brought that up, because I think you had something about Second Amendment that you want to talk about, and I did too. I found an article today. Do you want to go first?
What was I saying about the Second Amendment?
I don't know. You said you was gonna bring it up. But
Uh,
while you're thinking, mine's real short. I
yeah, go
found this
ahead.
article. It's titled, and this was in news today in Venezuela. Okay, why we have the Second Amendment. Venezuela plans to give firearms to loyalists to purge growing resistance. It says, after enduring shortages of food and medicine for years, as well as a total collapse of their currency, the people of Venezuela have had enough. Last week, it was estimated that 2.5 million people marched against the Maduro regime, which had previously tried to strip away the powers of the opposition led parliament. It's estimated that as many as 6 million people may have taken to the streets to protest throughout the country. In the lead up to the protest, which had been planned for weeks by opposition political parties, President Maduro issued an alarming proclamation that didn't receive nearly enough press. He promised to expand the nation's armed militia and hand out firearms to as many as 400,000 loyalists. Now, the I can't say the word now. The Bolivarian militias.
Bolivian?
Yeah, but no, Bolivarian militias currently at approximately 100,000 were created by the late Hugo Chavez to assist the armed forces in the defense of his revolution for external and domestic attacks. Speaking to thousands of militia members dressed in beige uniforms gathered in front of the presidential palace, Maduro said that vision remains relevant as Venezuela continues to face imperialist aggression. A gun for every militiaman. If you know your history of communist regimes, okay, you understand. Oh, a second. Oh, no, 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 no. Go back. Go back. Okay. You know, if you know your history of communist regimes, you understand that what comes next. Maduro's response to millions of hungry, peed off people is to arm his diehard supporters who will be able to purge the starving masses the dread to cross him. They may not face much resistance because in 2012, Venezuela banned private firearm ownership. Venezuela has brought a new gun law into effect which bans the commercial sale of a firearm and ammunition. Until now, anyone with a gun permit can buy arms from a private company. Under the new law, only the Army, police, and certain groups like security companies will be able to buy arms from the state-owned weapons manufacturer and importer. The ban is the latest attempt by the government to improve security and cut crime ahead of elections in October. Venezuela saw more than 18,000 murders last year, and the capital, Caracas, is thought to be one of the most dangerous cities in Latin America. So the government is giving the opposition party against the government guns, kind of like something you mentioned today, a big reminder of what happened with BHO and HRC. Remember? Arming the bad guys, fast and furious.
Oh, yeah, yep. So, what I was going to say about the Second Amendment, which I want to kind of go back a little bit when we were talking about big corporations, how they're terrible and taxes and stuff like that.
That's
People
Venezuela.
seem to forget. I will tie this all back in before I forget about these. I'm taking notes. So people seem to forget that not very long ago, actually it's 1913. That was when we first started being taxed. That before that, we had the most powerful country. We had best infrastructure. We had the highest paying wages of any other country, and we were selling our products for less. Now, granted, they bring in the Federal Reserve, and then all of a sudden in 1913, the Federal Reserve starts and when they put a tax on us, which is actually completely unconstitutional. So whenever everyone's like, "Oh, the government's not going to be able to operate if we don't have taxes," you're right. Why is that? Because it's a constitutional government does not take much money to be run.
No.
ETF is not going to be around. The FBI wouldn't be around. All
They're
of
about
these
useless
organizations.
anyway.
Can I address the Obamacare situation?
Yeah, hold on a second. He's still going.
Okay.
And then on to the Second Amendment. What people don't realize is we don't have the Second Amendment to hunt.
No, it's for tyranny government. It's in case we get a tyrannical government. It's for self-defense.
It's the great equalizer.
Yeah.
It's the great equalizer. You know, we don't. Right. I can hunt with a piece of leather and a rock if I get good enough.
I can hunt with a Buick.
I should bows if we wanted to hunt. It's not what it is at all. We don't even actually have to hunt. It's just a pastime at this point.
Right.
No, it is a great equalizer. It is our checks and balances to keep the government in check. Now, granted, we've gotten pretty lax, but if you think about it, we are the largest and most well-armed army in the entire world. We are 200 million guns deep.
280 million. 280 million. And that's just registered gun owners. That's just registered 280 million.
Oh, yeah.
And Florida just surpassed Texas. Florida just surpassed Texas.
Woo-hoo.
No one in their right mind could seriously sit and think that, oh, yeah, we could ban guns and just go door to door.
Yeah, right.
You would physically run out of people before you could get all the guns. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
If you really want to start something terrible, yeah, by all means, go ahead and try to take it. Start with me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just think that's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I'll give you my address and everything. Why don't you go ahead and bring yourself over here with your teddy bear hugs and stuff and try to take my gun? I promise you, it's not end well for you.
Well, I just recently got somebody, threatened to kill me. It happens to me all the time. Matter of fact, somebody's going to threaten to kill me after this show, I'm sure. You were bringing up Obamacare.
Yeah, I want to take a hard punch at Obamacare.
Here. One of our listeners did this. Because of Obamacare, it's hard for my wife to go to a doctor since it's switched to Molina, which is another insurer under Obamacare. Because of Obamacare, doctors are not taking Molina because it's still under Obamacare until it's finalized, and it switched his wife, and she can't go to a decent doctor. I did some research on Obamacare, and I will bring it up on another show another time. But
okay, now I don't mean this in any disrespect to any of our liberal peeps and homies out there, okay? Right, but now here's the deal. The Affordable Health Care Act was supposed to do three things. One, it was supposed to cover a lot of people, if not everyone.
Keep your doctor.
Right. Two, it was supposed to offer good coverage. And three, it was supposed to be affordable. The Affordable Health Care Act, hello. Now, the Constitution does not guarantee that you have a right to health care on the taxpayer dollar. But if the lawmakers want to, they can make it a tax. Now, Polk County is between Hillsborough County, Tampa, and Orange County, Orlando. You look up Polk County, Lakeland, big red state area. Polk County, Florida, has indigent health care. Okay, now, I'm not a big fan of that, but as long as it's out there, I'm going to tell you three things about Polk County's health care. Well, four things. One, it's affordable. It costs a 50-cent sales tax. It does not cost a whole lot of money. It's affordable. A 50-cent sales tax. Two, it covers a lot of people, anyone from $990 per month and down. I don't know how they could do it, but they can. Number three, it's not perfect.
Are you talking about the
indigent health care?
The state or the county care?
The county care. Now,
the county care.
Yeah. Now, number three, this county care gives not perfect coverage, but it gives good coverage. Now, I'm not a big fan of the government, and I did not apply for food stamps even when I qualified for a long time until I needed to show the government a way that I could defer my college loan. But I got the county health care plan, and I very rarely go to the doctor. But I got it just because it's there. I'm a smart person. Is the economy so bad that even us conservatives are lining up for these programs, okay? But let me tell you one thing. If the county care plan, this is a red state area, and we have affordable county care, the wheel does not find itself broken. If the wheel's not broken, do not reinvent the wheel. If the GOP leaders, and the Democrats are even worse, don't even get me started on them, but if the GOP leaders want to do something, all they got to do is copy what we're doing in Polk County. It works. Do not reinvent the wheel. And that's what I've said about that. Now, we don't, the Constitution doesn't mandate it, but as long as it's a tax, if they want to do something, just copy it. It works well. I don't know how they can afford it. They offered me all kind of operations or procedures or examinations, and I just did what I feel the cataract operation and daily, the monthly, or I'm sorry, the yearly checkups, like the yearly or bi-yearly, and that's basically it. The cataract surgery was, I don't know how they could afford it, but they did. And so the bottom line is it's small enough to be affordable if they would downsize what they're doing and just copy what works. They don't have to have it, but if they're going to have it, copy something small and make it affordable. It covers a lot of people, and it gives moderate, if not complete coverage. And if it works, what are they spinning their wheels? I told Congressman Dennis Ross, who's a good conservative in many ways, but he's not as conservative as me. Okay, but we have hope for him. Okay, he's a Trump supporter, and I'm thankful. Now, Mr. Trump is liberal in only one area, and that's healthcare. He doesn't want complete healthcare. He just wants something affordable. I'm liberal in only one area, and that's healthcare, and I don't want something huge. As long as we're going to have something small and affordable. Both sides will be angry and upset, but at least we can have something that doesn't break the budget. Healthcare, the college tuition being on the tax dollar, all these foreign wars, these three things are breaking our budget. We need to be fiscal conservatives. Less is more. Okay, all these liberals out there, your gun rights, you're being overtaxed with tuition, you're being overtaxed with health care. Abortion kills blacks at a much higher rate. You know the reason the Democrats don't have grip? Because you're killing your Democratic voters.
Well, and not only that, you're killing each other. That's why you only make up like 13% of America's population.
Can I step in here in a second once you get done, Trina?
Yeah. I just wanted to. I'm not gonna go into details. I'm just gonna read this off to everyone. You guys, it's news. It's on the internet. Okay. Don't take a genius to find out. I'm just going to give you the topics. Trump absolutely looking at breaking up the Ninth Circuit. Absolutely, I have, Trump said. Good deal. All right. The United Kingdom refuses to apologize to Palestinians for 1917 Balfour Declaration. All right. Amalek fought Israel on biblical battlefield in Rephidim. Today, new generation of ancient enemy appears on same site. North Korea threat. Top admiral calls on more missile interceptors in Hawaii. I do believe, and I've said it for years. I said this when Mitt Romney was running president, that we need to watch North Korea. People thought I was joking. Hello. Syria says Israeli missile strike near Damascus airport was confirmed. IDF strikes Hamas target in Gaza in response to cross-border fire. Palestinian Authority says it's halting Gaza power payments to Israel. Israeli Defense Minister warns of Iranian presence in Golan Heights. South Africa's nuclear deals are unlawful. Court rules. North Korea says again U.S. vows sanctions and will activate THAAD system within days. Trump considering draft order to scrap NAFTA. Hawaii again has been threatened by North Korea. Trump's promised tax plan is here, including lower tax rates and fewer deductions. Chelsea Clinton gets another award for doing nothing special, and cashless society getting closer survey finds. That's my
society.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Roll you, buddy.
Okay, so back to healthcare for a second.
Oh, yeah, we got about 18 more minutes, so I'll let you guys have the last
We can go to 9 if
Go ahead.
Well, whatever.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, so back to healthcare for a quick second. If you really want to have affordable healthcare, for one, you need to quit making it mandatory. Two, we shouldn't even be talking about putting a plan together for the nation.
If we're going to do something mandatory, veterans.
In a true capitalist society, it's going to work itself out. The companies in order to make money, have to bring a valuable product at a low price, or they'll go extinct. Not crony capitalism, where you can petition the government with money. You know, hey, I'll help you get elected, get in there. If you take away the power from the government, what good is lobbying at that point? You know, you have a government that's too powerful when you can buy them off and they can actually do things for you. Now, if you want affordable health care, it's very simple. Look at our statistics. Out of the 12 most developed countries in the entire world, we have the most expensive cost of providing care. That's the hospitals. Now, out of those same 12 most developed, we're the lowest quality of care. We want to talk about illegal monopolies.
Yeah, they almost killed my father.
Hospitals are an illegal monopoly because you can literally go to one hospital and a little thing of super glue, the same super glue that you buy at Walmart, is $258. Now you go to the next hospital, it can either be $400 or $30.
Yeah.
There's why don't we put limitations on them? On their prices?
Here's the other thing with what Obamacare is causing hospitals. They're causing hospitals to use outdated equipment, procedures. Matter of fact, I told you my dad had a heart attack. Found out they used outdated stents. Well, guess what? My dad just found out today where he had surgery in his gut. There's a class action lawsuit. My dad's going to go because a mesh implanted it or put it in him is messed up. So carry on. Well, carry on. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you're right.
You're fine on that. But if you truly privatize everything, and I mean everything, that includes education.
Yeah.
That's healthcare system, all of that. You will have a much better functioning, and it's proved itself. Like I said, before 1913, before we started having a tax on it, we funded the government to grow bigger and bigger and bigger year after year. We had the most successful society in history. Like I said, we were the highest paid workers. We had the best quality products. We had the lowest cost in products. We were 80% of all textiles, all manufacturing was the United States before 1913. And ever since then, we've been in decline. Why? When you tax us more, it costs more to produce something. And that goes for corporate tax, that goes for income tax. It's the same thing. The cost of living goes up. Not because it costs more to make the product, because it costs more to live.
Yeah, exactly. That's like what people don't understand is when you go to the store and you buy a loaf of bread and the price goes up, it's not that the price went up. It is that the value of the dollar went down.
Yeah. We should stop printing money like it's going out of style.
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead on that.
Okay,
I agree with you.
Well, I mean, the thing with this is a lot of people have called for us to use the greenback to get back on the gold standard. And if we would stop butting our nose into all these foreign countries, I'm for a strong military, but we should stop butting in all these conflicts and nation building. We should stop using our tax dollars to make or back, that is, guarantee college loans for stupid healthcare costs that is out of control, and all this nation building, and also the high paid salaries for all these liberal functions. We should be fiscally conservative.
Bill Soros.
Yeah. Now I want to go address the healthcare thing. I brought along a copy of my driver's. This is my old driver's license, okay? Restriction A, it was lenses. Now I'm wearing glasses, but this is my current driver's license, no restriction. I told that driver's license girl, I'm going to believe that we're all Christians, not all of us, but most of us are Christians here, and healing is for today. And so what I did is I passed the test without the glasses, which is very difficult to heal or to reverse eye problems. But by his stripes you're healed. Isaiah, Matthew chapter 8, verses 16 and 17 said Jesus did physical healings as well as spiritual to fulfill that, meaning the healing. And then 1 Peter 2:24, by his stripes you were healed. Is there any sick among you? Not necessarily, because there definitely will be. If there's any sick among you to come, the reason that there's sick and death in the church is because people are sinful. The laws of sowing and reaping are cold in effect. And if you obey the Lord, use common sense in your eating, and your diet, and your lifestyle, okay, which is not good nowadays. That's why Japan has a longer lifespan, even though their health care is lower. You will turn around and get healed up. I'm an old man, and I'm under a lot of stress, okay, but I'm healthy. And so health care is in the Bible, and it begins with personal responsibility. And there's a few things that I couldn't do. I couldn't cure the cataract. I had to get surgery for that. But it theoretically could be cured under ideal conditions. Okay? Why some people lose weight and they get back in health even when the doctor doesn't do anything? Personal responsibility. Healing happens. By his stripes you were healed, past tense, 1 Peter 2:24. And Jesus, if you're truly a Christian, in Mark chapter 16, miracles will follow you. I nearly won the Terry Schiavo case. Now, I didn't win it, but I did better than Jeb Bush, than Terry Schiavo's family, than President George W. Bush, the Pope, all combined. I nearly won the case on the merits, and you can Google my name to verify it. So healing is for today. If you do your part in God's timing, sowing and reaping will happen. So healthcare is in the Bible, believe it or not.
Well, yeah, but it is. But I do believe one thing. I believe that Jesus was a conservative.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it just was. I found an interesting video today, and I've watched this guy before. Remember the name Discovery Ministries, and look for, and I said this to my mom. I'm sorry, I know I get carried away. My husband and other people that know me, they'll back me up on this. So all you people that out there listening to me that's gonna call me names and blah blah blah, whatever, because I don't care. Anyway, I had a vision that Donald Trump was going to win. Okay, and the reason why I knew it was Donald Trump was I didn't see his face, but I seen a desk in the Oval Office.
Orange hair.
Nope, didn't see the hair, but what I seen was hands folded just like this on the desk, and with American flag cufflinks. Now, I told my mom, I said, I believe that Donald Trump is either going to be our last Christian president, and he is a Christian.
Amen.
He gave his life to the Lord. All right? And I'm fixing to prove it to y'all. About to prove it. Not to you. I know you know, Brandon. I know you know. But I told my mom he's either going to be our end-time president, or he's going to be our last Christian president before we fall into tribulation. Now, this guy on Discovery Ministries, I found this today, and he's got a sermon. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it. But it says, Donald Trump is God's end-time president. Now, there's this prophet I used to watch. He died in November. In 2007, he predicted Donald Trump was going to be president. I remember seeing
that. I remember Googling the guy and finding out.
He predicted ISIS. He predicted Bush.
Hey, guys, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm going to have to recuse myself for just a quick second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Can I address the fact that you said Jesus is conservative, and he is, but he's also pro-Second Amendment. Jesus said, when the strong man is fully armed in his own house.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Now, he also said, sell your garments and buy swords, which back in that day was the equivalent of a gun. And furthermore, Nehemiah told the people, in one hand have a spade to rebuild the wall. Hello, Donald Trump. Nehemiah, Ezra and Nehemiah, the wall. And the other hand have a sword. And they slept and alternated in 12-hour shifts. And Jesus said, I did not come to overturn the law or to remove it, but to fulfill it. And the Old Testament mandate that you uphold the Second Amendment is something that's still in effect, and Jesus simply reaffirmed that which was in the Old Testament. Jesus is pro-Second Amendment. And if you're a Democrat, your Second Amendment rights are being threatened by now, again, I want to apologize. My Republican Party is far from perfect. There's a small section of things that they do that are worse than the Democrats, but on balance, the Republicans are better than the Democrats. That's why I'm a Republican. And the Democrats are very bad in some areas, including the Second Amendment. Okay? So I just want to let you know, Jesus is pro-Second Amendment, and he's a conservative. He's pro-life.
Yeah, the Bible says a well-armed man.
Really fast before I lose my train of thought. I just got a couple quick things. We keep talking. We throw these words around, liberalism and conservative. Really, it's common sense. If you really look at the Bible, even if you don't look at it from a religious perspective, it is a lot of common sense. For the Second Amendment, you're one of two things. You are either well armed and protected. You can rely on yourself, or you have to rely on others. Now, when you rely on others, and especially in today's world, that's the government.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we can't rely on the government these days. If you think you can, go to the BMV once, and then you will know how socialism works.
There was a court case in which the police were able to show that they had no legal obligation to protect. There was a girl getting raped, and the police were not able to be sued, even though the mother begged the police to beat the door down, and the daughter got raped. There were numerous cases where people were trying to do something, and the police decided not to do something, and they have no legal obligation under the case law to do anything. So the government doesn't have there's a moral obligation, a constitutional obligation, but the laws are against the Constitution. They're taking our tax dollars for police, and many police are good, don't get me wrong. But the police, when they don't want to do something, they can't be sued, and that's wrong. Why become a police officer if you can get out of it through a loophole in the law?
Yeah. So, go back on what you said when we were printing money. I know we're going back kind of far.
Oh, and by the way, real quick, in the original translation, in the Hebrew, and the Ten Commandments, it was "Thou shalt not murder."
Not "Thou shalt not kill." Big difference.
Yeah, it was "Thou shalt not murder." "Thou shalt not premeditate, lie in wait." I just wanted to correct that. So, because I know some liberals are going to be saying something about that. Go ahead.
Well, he led armies. I mean, look at what he did to the Amalekites, which, granted, we'll get into that on another subject. But I mean, the Amalekites, they were actually hybrid people. But anyway, he sent armies in to destroy places.
Right.
Look at what he did to Sodom and Gomorrah. He didn't put these laws in effect just for us to follow him. He actually follows these laws himself, but he does it to a perfect standard. I mean, obviously, something we can't do. But anyway, when you were talking about printing money, I need to get back to the greenback. I agree, kind of. I wouldn't do it with gold because let's say we backed it with diamonds, for example, instead of gold. Who controls almost all of the diamonds in the entire world? The production and distribution of diamonds. It's De Beers, which is in South Africa. They only release 4 to 6% of all the diamonds they produce to keep the price of diamonds at such a high level. So, really, diamonds are a very common occurrence. We just don't see them very often because of who controls them.
Yeah,
and who controls gold? That's the Rothschilds. They're a $500 trillion.
Can I say
You don't see
one
them
little
in
thing?
Forbes, but they control the gold.
Yeah, China owns most of our minerals. And China owns most of our minerals.
Can I say one little thing? The Cree Native Americans have a saying about money. When the last tree is cut down, when the last fish is eaten, when the last drop of water is drunk, then and only then will the white man discover money cannot be eaten. I want that to sink into all the listeners. This is not a liberal or conservative issue. I'm reaching out to my liberal peeps and homies and buds. So it's all you.
Yeah, we got 3 more minutes.
I'm not going to be opposed if we run a little over, but currency is actually an evil. Economics is actually an evil in the Bible. If you look at when the angels came down and took human wives, that's one of the things that they taught people. They didn't have currency back then.
Right.
That's one of the evils that they taught. That weapons and stuff like that. So economics is actually an evil. That's what makes people poor poor and rich to begin with. I mean, technically we're all equal. If you look at what happens when we die, well, all of us go 6 feet under. It doesn't matter how rich you are or how well or how poor you are. Your dead is dead. You're not taking anything with you when you die. Whether you believe in a higher power or not, you can be buried in your Lamborghini, but that's not going to save you from anything. You're still going to be eaten by worms at the end of the day. Your body. So currency is technically it's stupid if you think about it. I mean, we're all created equal. Even the Constitution says that, and only this our entire life is run by this little tiny piece of paper. It makes no sense. It's not even actually worth anything. Because technically we're not backed by any standard. It's just money being printed. That's why we had that massive inflation when they printed out however many billions or trillions of dollars.
Could I bring a Bible scripture? Can I bring a Bible scripture into the money thing? The word says, the scripture says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Money itself is not necessarily, it is evil, but it's not necessarily evil. And the Bible says you should take evil mammon, that is evil money, and use it for good purposes. And there was there was that one servant, I forget the guy, he was taking, there was a parable about how he was able to write off some debts and do some good things. And so the love of money is the root of all evil. Money is a tool like a hammer or like a gun. It can be used for good or for evil. The people, even if they had no money, would still oppress the weaker people in the society. Now, the money can exacerbate the problem, but money is like a gun or a stick or a hammer. It's a tool.
I mean, hey, I don't know when, but somebody said something about martial law earlier. I think it was George. When we bring that subject up one day, I think I got pretty much all we need on that. This is all martial law stuff. Anyway, as far as, I'm not going to finish my whole big writing here that I had on the evils of liberalism, because you know what? If you couldn't learn enough out of the show that we just did, like the Bible says, there'll be some whose eyes and ears will be closed off. They won't, they'll be incapable of hearing. And I really think I think that's these people that are out here acting like a bunch of terrorists.
Well, think about it for a second. If you really pay attention, we can throw facts out at people. I forget what debate I was having on Twitter. Twitter's a very frustrating device. But I was having a debate, and they're like, well, where did you get this fact? I was like, Department of Justice. Like, well, that's not credible. And then literally 5 minutes later, I was like, well, where did you get that fact? Department of Justice.
Department of Justice.
I thought it was incredible.
It's on the Department.
They throw common sense out the window. They could care less about reality. They just
black and white. Yeah. I mean, you can't say. I mean, they refuse to believe. So you know what? It's on them.
Someone tell me whether I was on the camera or not. And where is the camera anyhow?
Camera's right there.
Okay.
You're on it.
Yeah.
So you're on it because I'm running the live stream right now in the background. I can see. Yeah, I can see.
I can see myself on that monitor, but in the little tiny one there.
No, that's just for Skyping him.
Okay. So I actually really was. I took my hat off earlier so I could make a good first impression for the new viewers, and then I put it back on because I'm so bald. I'm follically challenged. Let's be politically correct. The eyeglasses, which are, again, I don't have to wear, but I'm wearing them just because they make my eyesight even better, and it's just a matter of convenience. But I showed you the driver's license. The restrictions is off. It was really hard, but I struggled. I grabbed hold of that blessing with both arms, and I just barely passed it, but I did. And I'm believing that I'll even get better vision as time goes on. So look at the cushion. It makes it where the eyeglasses don't hurt my head.
Well, I haven't eaten all day, and my dear husband is in there cooking some Alfredo.
And offering me some food. And he's being a good, hospitable Christian, and will be blessed by the Lord God Almighty and Jesus, who is not only the Son of God, he's God the Son, and the only perfect role model and example, and the healer, and the advocate, and the creator, and a very busy dude.
Damn it. Don't forget, folks, during the day, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we had technical difficulties today, so but Tuesdays and Thursdays is from 1 to 3 or 1 to 2. It depends on who's involved. Is Bible study, Bible discussion, sermons. Hey, we'll even have some worship services. Whatever. Wherever it leads us. So don't forget that. That's every Tuesday and Thursday. Our show tonight is every Tuesday and Thursday, starting at 6:30. So 6:30ish. So I'm really shocked that no one has challenged us.
Maybe there's no listeners or viewers. Did the links go out? Were they advertised on Facebook and Twitter?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Someone
I don't know
No,
if the
3 people watching.
3 people watch, but it's going to be on syndication and on reruns because it's going to capture this and save it as a video so that people can see it on reruns.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be on. I put it on Twitter, so.
We can make while we're asleep, the computers will be making the liberals angry, and the computers
That's when the
will be
liberals
awake.
come out is at night because they ain't got to work the next day.
Don't let me forget to get my battery pack there.
Oh yeah, battery pack. It's a good thing. I didn't know that thing charged. I didn't know it was supposed to charge. Now I know. I'll take this side and charge that joker. But we'll think up. We got our Tuesday show is always going to be a little bit longer because you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday worth of stuff. Hold on, let's see. Highlight clip. Can't remember. I don't know what that means. Highlight clip. America, you need to prepare.
What is that, a Twitter feed or a Facebook feed?
I don't know. Let me see. Oh no, it's something somebody sent me.
I think someone gave you free advertisement.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Rod. You the man, Rod. All right. Well, I know you got to work tomorrow. We was talking about what I'm gonna start. Well, I'll say this off camera. I enjoyed everything. I need to check on George. George, you need to let me know if you're okay. But we'll see you all next Tuesday. And listen, if you guys got any topics you want us to discuss, you could email me at Mission for Christ Men. That's short for ministry. Mission for Christ Men at gmail.com, which is not up there, but it's Mission for Christ Men at gmail.com.
Easy to remember.
Brandon?
Actually, go ahead and write that up there. You can put my email address up there too on the second board.
And you can put my name, GordonWatts.com, hosted by GoDaddy, GordonWayneWatts.com, hosted by HostGator. I have 2 websites in case I'm like,
I have a website too. I gotta get the name of it. Hold on.
My website's easy to remember. It's my name.
Okay, let's first do this.
Oh wow, you have all kind of boards. Mission for Christ Men at gmail.com. Short for ministry. How did you use to charge that thing up?
Yeah, you're gonna have to write a little bit bigger. I can't really see it on the feed.
You can always zoom in, can't you? Or you can pick the thing up and carry the camera over to
All right, I'll write yours bigger.
I can rewrite it using font times
hold on
New
a
Roman.
second. I don't know why my website comes up like this. Maybe it's because not enough people visit it, but hey, it is what it is.
What's the URL?
It's Mission for Christ Ministries, and it is
.com, .org, .net.
.com.
.com.
But when you do it, there's a lot of other ones that pop up. So I give the HTTP // www.
Mission for Christ Ministries.
Mission I'll write this out neater this weekend.
Pat,
Mission for
I'll tell
Christ.
you what, it's still not showing up on the live feed. How about we put that in the description?
Yeah, we could do that.
and the
Yeah,
capital,
let's just put them in the description.
anything before the .com, you can make it
I
capital or
can't
not.
really see it.
All right.
Anything
I don't know
before.
if I can do it while it's broadcasting.
Oh, mine. If you want anyone that wants to check me out, just put in Google GordonWayneWatts.com or GordonWatts.com. GORDON. Wayne Watts. GordonWayneWatts.com, hosted by HostGator. GordonWatts.com, hosted by GoDaddy. And I have two websites. They look the same on your end, but they are mirrors. They're a spare tire in case there's one gets flat. I paid the unlimited fee. Hit the thing. You can download stuff. It's a professional website. And if there's a mess up, it's my fault because I'm the one that wrote the HTML code for it.
Okay, what's yours, Brandon?
It's just 100 fireman 100 @gmail.
Oh, you're a fireman?
100
Was.
100 fireman 100 @gmail.com.
He's a fireman. He's got to be.
100 fireman 100 @gmail.com. Like I said, mine's Mission for Christ Men @gmail.com, or check out the website.
Mission for Christ Ministries .com.
It's www.missionforchristministries.com. www.ministriesforchrist.com. Mission for Christ Ministries.com. I'm getting tired.
I'll bet you that it'll work with or without the www, but I don't know that.
It don't.
Oh, ooh, that needs to be looked at. Mine will work both ways.
But I'm saying goodnight to you folks. Hang around.
Most liberals are conservatives, and you just don't know it. We need your help, liberals, and so-called Republican conservatives. We need your help too. There's only a few of those bad people that are messing with us, but they're powerful. Republicans and Democrats and liberals and conservatives mostly are conservatives, and we need to maybe not agree on it. We can't agree on everything, but we're trying to. We should reach across the aisle, and all of us don't want our guns taken from us. All of us don't like to be taxed to death. Tuition is a tax. You liberals are upset that tuition is high, and you're conservative and just don't know it because tuition is a tax. You liberals are closet conservatives, and I'm going to bring you out the closet because we need your help, buddy.
Yeah, well, we need your help, but at the same time,
we're going to not fast and pray any longer because the food is calling our name. It is.
Just remember, one day you're going to need our help.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, because we are the lawful gun owners. On average, of the 280 million registered gun owners, an average of 5 guns per home. That does not include unregistered gun owners, which in the state of Florida, guess what? You do not have to register your gun. So
gun owners,
we are the protectors. We are the watchmen.
Concealed weapon permit holders have a lower crime rate than police officers. Yep. Don't forget that.
Brandon, what's your final words?
I mean, you guys pretty much said it.
You're the man.
You gotta say something. You gotta say something.
Put me on the spot. That's pretty much said it all.
Brandon, I've never met you before. Like, don't.
Hold on, I think he's saying something.
Go ahead.
Just don't take anything someone says, even us. I mean, do your research.
Hey, you don't take my word for it. Check it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do. I mean, actually physically go out and just research. Don't form an opinion on feelings. I mean, I try to keep feelings out of everything. I mean, I just look at what statistics tell you.
This right here is just half. This is just half of the news sites I go to. Most of them are on my iPad. I get news from overseas. I mean, I read it everywhere. And I'm telling you, people, right now, we're nearing
the end times.
We're nearing the end times, and things are about to get real.
The rapture is going to happen.
Real. Right?
Jesus is going to say, "Beam us up, Scotty," with the rapture.
I want you guys to check this out. And maybe on our next show, give opinions on it. Look up A.A. Allen, and I think it was 1930s or the 1940s or the 1950s. But look up A.A. Allen, The Destruction of America. A.A. Allen was a faith healer back in the day, back in the black and white days. Matter of fact, you can see some of his black and white videos on YouTube. But he had a vision that America got hit. All right. And I believe the area, if I remember correctly, I believe the area was coming from North Korea. But he saw the Statue of Liberty in his vision, what he called the Statue of Liberty fell into the sea.
Two of my friends had dreams or visions about the 9/11 attack, and one woman showed me her photograph and it was dated. Now, she could have lied and put the date on there, but it was like before the 9/11 attacks. And another friend is as honest as the day is long, Dr. Russ Hills, and the other woman, I forget, she's the author of a book about her daughter. Both of them are very honest people. They said that they had a dream or a vision or both of the 9/11 attacks on the Twin Towers. Okay, when I went to New York to visit some friends, and I came back just about 1.5 or 2.5 days before it happened. This was right. I got back from there right before it happened, and I was in that place right around where it was happening in New York, and I had a creepy feeling about the buildings as if they were going to fall, and I didn't know what was going on. It was not a real strong feeling, but I didn't like it.
Right.
And when I came back, I thought about it when the 9/11 attacks happened, and I thought back and thought I was feeling creepy when I was there, and I think there was a connection.
Well, A.A. Allen, I take his vision seriously because that vision somebody came across it. It was something he had written, and somebody came across it after he died.
Okay, I think so.
But hey, y'all want to challenge us? I gave you a number. You can challenge us, okay? Which that number comes directly to me after the show. So all you men that want to be bullies,
keyboard warriors,
bring it.
Keyboard karate.
Yeah. But for the rest of you, actually, you know what? You liberals, you need to get down on your knees. You need to repent. You need to ask God to show you the truth. You do that, that'd be all she wrote. So I'm signing out. Stay there. I wanted to ask you something after the show.
Yeah.
God bless y'all, all right? And I mean it. Get your butts in church. And I don't mean no pew warmer. I mean, go to church and get that spiritual food, because if you don't, man, it's gonna be trouble. It's gonna be trouble. So hey, we're signing out. Gordon, you want to say last word?
Well, I'm Gordon Wayne Watts. I live in Lakeland. You can Google GordonWatts.com, GordonWayneWatts.com. I'm not perfect, but my websites are free download. Interesting stuff. Health, diet, politics, religion, all kind of cool stuff. And I hope that I can help make America a great place for all people, to do my part. The liberals and the black Americans are great people and great Americans. And we agree on a lot of things. And so I hope that we can join hands and agree. And the rich people that are stealing from us, I don't hate rich people. I'm a Republican, hello, but there are some rich people that steal way too much. That needs to stop, and it will not happen if I have any say in the matter. So I hope you enjoyed our broadcast. May God bless you.
Amen. Signing out. Peace.